Welcome back everyone to another episode of my F1 2009 My Team Career Mode. This is round 12 of 16 of the season and we are arriving at crunch time. The final few races guys before we close out the year. If you haven't seen the previous episode, go check it out guys. The Belgian Grand Prix linked in the top right. Spoiler warning is ahead, so go check it out if you haven't seen it. So for this one, we're going to start off by renewing our sponsorships with various sponsors. I think we've got a pretty decent balance now in terms of the cash flow we bring in and making those sponsor goals achievable. We also went for some sim training for the activities, and also we're going to add another major upgrade, this time for the drag reduction on the aerodynamics, which is huge. And we're going to pair that up with not just the upgrade, but also a facility improvement and also try to get the upgrade on a bit quicker. So we're going to bring build time spec 1, which hopefully will bring the upgrade a bit sooner and we can see it on the car have effect a little bit quicker. So with that done, we are looking pretty decent. We arrive at Monza fresh off the back of a podium, and you can see here we have a regulation change for next season, so we'll keep an eye on that and see what happens over the next coming races, although so far there's no mention on what parts of the departments it's going to affect. So forecast is dry, no surprises, no shocks, nothing really unpredictable here at Monza. Nice sunny skies in the Italian country. So as you can see, if we look at the performance chart, we have dropped to second bottom after the last race where we got P2. Toyota, BMW Sauber have improved, also Toro Rosso have pulled away, and so have McLaren as well. So a few upgrades here and there. Williams rock bottom of the chart, but that aside, for us we have two major upgrades in the way, and if they arrive, I think we could go as high as McLaren in 5th if we get them on the car ASAP. So fingers crossed those facility upgrades for both help us out, we get them on as quick as possible. Fingers crossed they don't foul and we can have an improved car for the final stretch of the season. Now with that done, we jump into practice and we had a relatively smooth session. No more big kind of adjustments now on team acclaim, to be honest with you. We've kind of hit our max for the season. We also picked up our usual R&D points tally, so no surprises also on that front. So we now jump into qualifying, a track which is very tricky. You run very low downforce, so you have to try and do well in the corners, which is tough to do with such low wings. So we've got to try and find the compromise and the balance. Now, we currently do a pretty decent job on our banker lap, but a bit of a lock up through parabolic does cost us a little bit of time. So you can still see on the bottom right we have the engine warning icon on, and that is for the gearbox, which I actually I didn't realise in practice, but it was in the mid-60s, so we may run into gearbox trouble like we did in Monaco in the race if it gets much higher. So we're going to take a chance and hopefully we don't get in trouble. So first lap on the board, 20.8. We then go for a second attempt and straight away we find a 10th and a bit more, to be fair, through turn 1. Through the chicane at 4 and 5, we get it a bit scruffy and lose the entire advantage. We pull it back though through Lesmo 1 and we get a much better run through there, which is good. And now into Lesmo 2, again we kind of throw it away. Either way, we finish the lap about a 10th up through the final corner, and that is going to close out our second attempt. So not a huge improvement. P20 right now, Ricciardo's last, but we go P16, which is a bit better, but it seems like we may be a bit off the pace around here. So all or nothing, pretty much now last attempt to try and get a good result here, and we're going to send it on this final lap, and hopefully we can get a decent lap on the board. And I know this time there, I've just got to try and put it all together. So here we go, down to turn 1, car pretty much in maxed out modes. You want to brake bang on 100 and hold it in 7th gear and drop to 2nd. Try to cut the curbs a little bit to gain a bit of lap time and make the track a little bit shorter. We get a really good exit and we find a 10th already on the exit of 1. We now get ready for turn 4 and 5, the left-right chicane, which of course last run we made a bit of a mess of. So if we can just cut these curbs and keep the car stable, we should find some time, and that's exactly what we're going to do as we hit both apexes beautifully. And look at that, we're 4 tenths up. Lesmo 1, we hit this pretty good last time, and we pretty much match it this time around. Small screen freezes, we're now half a second up through Lesmo 2. Yikes. Big one. Big shunt. That could be critical. That could be decisive in the championship fight. Here's a replay then. So we just bottomed out on the curb, ran a bit wide, power down too soon, and it's a costly error. Now, the results don't read into them too much because we crashed out. The lap times were simmed, as always, for the rest of the session, and that AI basically set regular F1 2020 car lap times. So there's not much to really read into besides the fact that we are going to start from P21, which is a hammer blow, a big hammer blow. So yeah, this could be a tough one, guys. I'm not going to lie. We're going to have to fight big time in the race. So we're up against it, and it looks like, to be fair actually, Timo Glock P16, Jarno Trulli P13. So the Toyotas are actually on the back foot here as well. So a bit of a shuffle in the order. We noticed it in Spa in the last episode, and that seems to be continuing. So even though we're in the dumps, Toyota seem to be there as well. So it may actually be recoverable and manageable. So yeah, guys, qualifying done. Let's get into the main event.
We're back in Italy once again for another round of the Formula One World Championship. And what a great race is in store for us today here at the oldest circuit on the calendar. Monza hosted its first race all the way back in 1922. We're 12 miles northeast of Milan for today's Grand Prix at a Monza circuit where we can expect top speeds of around 215 miles per hour. 11 corners on this 3.6 mile track, with 7 of those coming in the form of chicanes. And with a good slipstream and DRS open, there should be plenty of opportunity for some passing here today. Joining me for the Grand Prix once again is Anthony Davidson. So, let's start with Lance Stroll. Looks like they've got a tough race in store today as grid penalties from changing power unit components has forced them further down the field.
Everyone has to deal with penalties or reliability issues from time to time throughout their career. You just have to suck up the pain and get on with the job at hand. Today isn't about performing a miracle to put the car back where it should be. It's about effective damage limitation.
Here we go then. Time for the race at Monza. Not gonna lie, we are on the back foot, and this could be a massive moment in the championship. So we have to fight back, and we have to find a way to get to the front. So let's send it, and we're gonna see what happens. Now, originally the game says to go medium hard, but as I'm saying this, I might switch to a hard medium instead and see if I can make the hard tire work in the first stint, and then hopefully be quicker at the end and try and fight back as much as possible. So I think I'm going to invert those in just a moment. Fuel wise, I'm running a bit more in the tank just to be safe, about 0.7, 0.8 more. That should hopefully give us a bit of margin to push this race and use the engine. Hopefully the gearbox holds on, which is key. But either way, no rain forecast. We have to fight back, and those Toyotas are the target. So let's just get to it and let's try and send it in the race. Right then, let's get to it. Hard tires. We're going to see how they work. Lights on. Lights out, and away we go. Oh, really bad start. No rear grip. My tyres are a bit cold, to be fair. I didn't really get a ton of temperature in them, so we're just going to have to try and build the temperature up organically throughout the lap. I'm going to go up the inside of Ball Day and try to get that one back. So 3 wide up ahead of Ricardo there in P15. Getting into a drag race now. We do have some slightly lower wings than previous races, so I'm hoping it will give us some good straight line speed. As you can see there, all day that will fire back as we have to brake early into the chicane, although we do creep through and sneak past Rosberg. So nice move, opportunistic. I think the AI will be pretty quick, so we're going to have to be opportunistic and smart with our overall AI racecraft. So a bit like with the modern cars, you know, they can kind of hurt themselves more than you can hurt them in this track with the way they race. So if you just basically stay out of the way and let things take their course and you just pick up the pieces, it should be better for us. As you can see, there's a big gap already forming up ahead. So the train's braking in multiple places. Lots of swerving up ahead. So we're just going to keep a bit of a distance. There we go, through Parabolica. Getting a nice exit. Using the rest of the curves. This could be interesting. If we could clear a bunch of cars here, this would be really nice. Ricardo, I can see up ahead challenging. Thought about going on the move there for Nakajima, but instead we'll hang back and just be patient. In this initial phase, those mediums are going to be a very good race tire compared to our hard tire, so we're just going to have to wait. Hopefully it will come good in 3 or 4 laps time. Yellow flag. Is that ahead? Can't tell. Yes, it is. Fisichella out of the race. So one of the Force Indias go pop. We'll see that triggers a safety car. It's a virtual safety car for now. We almost run to the back there of Nakajima. Just got to manage the pace during this VSC phase, as always. We're trying to save some fuel. VSC ending. Good timing on that one. I think we're starting to find some pace. We're still not very quick, but a couple more laps of tyre wear, and that should hopefully make a difference, and we'll start to now make some progress on these guys. At the minute, just have to hold station and wait. Be patient. Here comes Rosberg. They are pushing quite hard after that VSC, so we've got to try and fight. I'll go around the outside. Good defensive driving. And we hold position for now. Although I don't think that's the end of Rosberg. He's going to be back, I think, for more. Rosberg's really pushing it now. I don't really have the pace at this stage. The AI have really leveled it up since that VSC. I was hanging on okay before that, but this tyre isn't great. We are really on the back foot. Ball Day is going to probably have a look here. I don't really have a lot of curves to burn. The AI have very good straight line speed, it seems. So, again, we can't do much about that. Just got to stick with the pack, and hopefully we can get something later on. But for now, this tyre is not the one. Yeah, I don't know what happened now, but the AI just very, very quick. I was holding on okay before the VSC, but that just seems to have changed things for us. I don't really have an answer to their pace right now, so again, hopefully in a few laps time their tyres start to fade, we can come back at them, but for now it's not looking great. Hopefully that medium's a really good tyre, because we're going to need it later on to fight back. My tyre wear is a bit of a concern, I'm not going to lie. 28 on the left rear after 7 laps. I mean, we can one stop, but it's not going to be a piece of cake. Personal best in that last lap, but still you can see we're just nowhere near. Car in the pit lane, I think. Fernando Alonso. It's an early stop. He was on soft, so maybe there is time for a stop. They're battling up ahead, so we're going to catch back up here. Nowhere near the points, but there's also a few more battles further up, but this is the biggest one on track. The front 3 are so far gone. Both Brauns are absolutely flying around here, and I think they're dragging a BMW Sauber or a Ferrari with them. I can't quite tell, so yeah, that front 3 is completely checked out. So crucially, I don't think there's a Toyota in there. They don't seem to be as on the pace around here, so we might get spared, we might get lucky. Yep, looks like more soft tyre starters are into the pits. To be fair, we've lost so much time already. Raikkonen's in there, Kovalanen's in there, so both Finnish drivers. Kubica, Button has pit and rejoined ahead of us already after 9 laps in the Brawn. That's how quick and far ahead those guys are this weekend. Although Brawl may open a pathway for us. Everyone seems to be 2-stopping though, and go for another set of softs, which is interesting. That might give us a chance. There's a few more soft runners still yet to box, so we may still be within a shout. Gearbox, missing gear, missing 5th gear as well, which is massive. Not ideal. Got to try and make this work now. Missing a gear, this is going to really hurt our race. You can hear that loss of power and torque. Oh, this is going to be a long race. More cars in the pits. Let's see if we can get a better reading of where we are. That shift to 6th is absolutely killing me on the way up. I can manage it the way down, but on the way up it's killing us. Hamilton's in. Massa as well, he was running P3 and he's also rejoined ahead of us. I'm pretty certain. Bit of damage there, bit of debris at 1. Not sure from who, but it's 3 wide there. It is kicking off, so it's keeping us somewhat in the race. I think Sutil has got damage. Not sure if it's, I think it's right front end plate. So we're going to try and go past here. No, it must be the left front end plate. We're going to use all the curves to try and go through here. Battling up ahead as we get our warning for track limits. Massa on board A. He's going to try and keep up with the JB, as you'd expect. Got Kubica now right behind us, who is also rapidly caught up. I think board A's got damage as well, so it's not just Sutala's. Board A stamps on the brakes and almost Kubica there running into the back of him. So that brings us to P11 now. Some different strategies. Hardfield onto the hard tyres. I think we've got 5th gear back. But now Kubica's going to be the next one to look for a pass here. You can see on traction, he's just so much quicker. Nope, we're still missing 5th. Kubica, I'm just going to let him go. I don't want to fight him. Different race. Even though we both have 1 stop left, he's going to be way quicker. Now 5th gear's back, I'm pretty certain I just saw it flash up there. Here comes the Iceman. Who's next one through. Just knock it down to lean revs and let him go. I'm not going to fight. I'm also managing fuel here. We're struggling to make it. I'm using rich on every straight because I'm getting destroyed on every single straight. It feels like the AI have twice the curves that I do for some reason. They can just keep deploying and never run out. And I'm running lower wings, but they're also faster in the corners. So I don't know how this works. It's a bit of like the modern games. It seems like the AI issues carry over. Regardless of mod, certain issues carry over. Either way, there's a big battle ahead. Look at the train we're catching up to, by the way. This is going to be interesting. This might open up the race for us. If we can catch up to these cars approaching the pit stop phase, get medium, it might change our race. Oh, a few bits of front wing there scattered about the track. So more damage up ahead, not sure from who. Hardfield getting a run. I was trying to use the battery, but that BMW Sauber is carrying some very good straight line speed in it. So PK damage has to be. A few cars in the pits there. I think we're going to get points here. The AI are starting, as I mentioned before at the beginning, they're starting to have that kind of low race IQ where they're hurting each other out of this race by, you know, causing damage. So let's just try and stay alive here. Through goes Hamilton. Need I say more? Although the McLaren doesn't seem very quick on the straight, but he does go through just before Ascari. And we're going to be yielding track position here to Alonso as well. He was the first car to pit, so we'll see how things pan out. Kovalainen also looking to make a move. Side by side here. Through Parabolica, trying to hold on, but the tyres are letting go. There's Trulli, so Jarno's not exactly flying around here, which is good, but Glock's the one now that I'm worried about. He's our main rival, and I think he must be even further back than Trulli, if I haven't seen him yet. Unless he pit and rejoined ahead, which if that's the case, that's bad news, really bad news, hopefully. Nope, he's behind, there we go. He actually just come out of the pits, so just missed that. So that answers my question for me. I mean, we're going to be a pit stop behind them, but at least they're not cooking around here, which is good for us. Here comes Trulli. Gonna try and use all the cars. I want to try and fight him a little bit if I can, because those 2 stoppers on softs, that's bad news, because the Toyotas might actually get back in the race. Being on the hards to the end, they might actually get a second chance here. So I want to try and fight Trulli for a bit if I can. That would help us out massively. The slipstream is so strong. Just try and, you know, force Trulli back a little bit, maybe into Glock and Webber, and just cost him time on those on softs up ahead. We have a horrible legs there, the tyre wear really showing. And here comes Glock. Do I let him go and fight with Trulli? Might be a wise thing to do, to be fair. Let's stick with it, just through this section. It won't be long till Glock gets through. We can probably pit, to be fair, very soon, next lap or so. Tyre wear warning has flashed up in the bottom right. Right, go on then, Glock. Off you go, mate. Go battle with your teammate. Hopefully that can ruin both their races. Wow. Back end finished. We'll box this lap. I'm trying to do one more just to have a bit of an easier time in the next stint. So we're taking some pain now, rather than Finally we get through Parabolica and finish up this stint. Alonso begins the 2-stop phase. So this is interesting. Right, onto mediums. We can finally get off this tyre. 68 left rear. Next stint will be marginal at the end, but it should be better than this one. Alonso onto mediums, the same tyre as us. Let's push on now. This is going to be a really key few laps. We're essentially undercutting those soft runners who are 2-stopping, so we've got to try and turn it on. Although I don't think my pace is that great, man. I really think we're on the back foot. So let's see. Back underway. Back into last besides Sutil, so we've got all the work to do. Let's see. Hopefully this tyre can save our race because we need it to. Track limits number 2. But be careful now for the rest of the race. So Bourdais in the pits. Nakajima as well. We set a personal best by 2.3 seconds. Lots of cars have already pit though ahead. I've been watching on the mini-map. I'm not too confident we're going to get points now, but we'll keep pushing. We're closing in on Buemi. Yellow flag up ahead. Or VSC. We'll take that in our stride. And it's Ricciardo in the barrier. Wow. Let's get our delta fixed. Okay, VSC ending. Just got to manage. Get some rolling momentum. There we go. So P17 now. Green flag. Still think we're not going to get points. We're a bit too far off, unfortunately, but we'll keep pushing. That's not going to help us, though. Oh, Buemi locks up. I've got no curves left. I used everything to try and close in. We'll use some now over the line if I need it. Getting a nice little slipstream here without having to use the curves. Buemi goes defensive. Going to hit the rev limiter at this rate. Going to go around the outside. Leave room at the apex. There we go. We're also now really closing in on Kubica and PK. Let's see if we can try and gain some more places. Gear's gone. Lost another gear. Third gear. I can probably manage without it. Except for the first chicane. That's going to cost us a little bit. I've got no pace. I cannot catch now. With that missing gear, my pace was slow anyway, but now I've got no chance. Also, I've looked at the map. I'm pretty sure that Toyotas are battling for the win, which could be the nail in the coffin. It could be devastating. Closing in on PK, but I don't think we're going to win. Heidfeld picks up the victory. Big surprise. And I think that front four finished super close on track. And we get the pen at the end, right at the death. Oh well, that's not a good way to end it. Poor race, absolutely no pace at all. When I'm running 104, which is lower than what I have run. I've run 106 most of these races, so just a big shame. No curse, so I can't challenge PK to the line. What a poor race.
A great win then for the Alfa Romeo team today. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
I think the key here was just the quality of the racecraft, you know? I mean, how many overtakes did they make overall? I'm sure we have a stat person keeping score somewhere, and it's fantastic to watch, wasn't it? This is a strategic sport at the end of the day, but it's always really gratifying to see close-fought battles on track. It's what all the fans are after.
Looks like they're on their way out to the podium now, and what a result this is! And a popular one with the crowd as well. Great stuff to see the Alfa Romeo team on top here today.
Well, it's bad news, that race. Really not good for the championship, and it was the story of the one-stop. Everyone that two-stopped lost places that race. It was a really bad decision. The one-stop was the way to go. Red Bull and Toyota proving it as you can see from P12 and P15, they qualified so poorly and they've come away with a double podium. That might just be the end of the championship fight. 4 races to go, but we need a miracle. We need to win a race, and I'm pinning all my hopes on those major upgrades because that's all we can do. We did that on 100 in qualifying, 104 in the race, which usually I run 100 and 106, so a little bit concerning, but I think it's a one-off. I think the track isn't great. Singapore next, I believe. We've got to somehow try and win that or get a podium, because after getting a podium last race, this was a massive punch to the gut. Brawn were easily the quickest team on track today, but they just couldn't deliver in the race. Even on the 2-stop, they fell short. Barrichello almost did it, but yeah, just ran out of time and laps. Heidfeld luckily does spare our blushes and scores a few extra points over, Toyota, which helps a little bit, but that's a big points haul for both drivers. Also, it helps that Truly outscored Glock by a couple of points to kind of keep things balanced, but yeah, bad race for us. P16, just no pace. Bottom line, not fast enough. Driver standings, 3rd. Gap, 32 points. 100 points left on the table, 4 races remain. We need to win a race and outscore those Toyotas right now. Yesterday, Constructors, I think P5 is where we're going to finish. We might be able to beat Williams, to be fair. They were a bit poor today, but Ferrari looked really quick. At one point, Massa was leading, so I think Ferrari and Brawn are the 2 quickest teams right now. And then it's a bit of a toss-up between Toyota, maybe BMW Sauber, to see who's after that. So the field has definitely been mixed up a little bit, but yeah, a bad race, guys. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe. Not all races are going to be fairy tales and good results. And yeah, as always, a big shout out to the members. Check out the 2 videos on screen if you haven't seen them already. And yeah, guys, cheers for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, and that's goodbye from me.